Good morning. It's good to be with you again this morning. And first of all, if you live in Ontario, happy Family Day. And if you're outside of Ontario, I know there's a few extra provinces in Canada that have today as a holiday. And if you're watching this later on today, then that's great. So I'm building on the 4 pillars of a healthy Christian business leader. Pillar number 1 is healthy relationships, and then number 2 is building biblical financial values. Number 3 is biblical spirituality, and then number 4 is balanced living. Hi, Poom Poom. Good to have you along with us today. This week, we are focusing on pillar number 3, which is biblical spirituality. The series is called Praying When Life is Busy. That's going to be the series for this week. And today I'm talking about simply what is prayer. So the simple way to say it is, of course, prayer is talking to God. When people pray, for many people, prayer has become this kind of awkward thing that you do at church. It's kind of like public speaking, except you do this with your eyes closed. And I've been to prayer meetings that look more like a Shakespearean recital than anything I would ever want to be a part of. And, you kind of start to wonder, like, who can compete with that? These people, they start to pray and it's like Shakespeare. There are the people who, when they start to pray, all of a sudden they change their voice, they change their persona, and you kind of feel like your friend left the room and was replaced with someone else. All of these things can give us kind of a wrong view of prayer. And so this week, as we talk about prayer, so praying when life is busy, my hope is that we can overcome some of these stereotypical ideas about prayer. If you've ever seen or watched the movie Fiddler on the Roof, I know it's an old movie. It's still a classic. If you haven't watched it, I'd encourage you to watch it. But if you have watched it, the scene that I really like is when the father is just walking along the road, talking to God. He's walking, and his ox is pulling the cart, and he's just walking along. And as he's walking along, he's kind of looking up into the sky, and he's just talking to God. And to me, that's one of the key parts of that movie, where he's just open and just talking. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing the people who start to pray like in the Shakespearean language, if that's the way they were taught how to pray and they're comfortable with that and they enjoy talking to God in that way, then that's fine. I'm also not criticizing those who change their voice when they pray. But I do know that for many people, it becomes intimidating when they go to a church gathering and the people around them start to pray in these kind of odd ways. It causes them then to feel that they can't pray. And so this morning, as we kind of talk about this, I just really want us to recognize that we need to be careful about allowing those kind of stereotypical ideas about prayer to stop us from praying. And if you struggle with prayer, if you struggle with the ability to just talk with God, again, think like the Fiddler on the Roof, the dad, and just think about the fact that it's just walking with God and praying. I remember, certainly as a young man, I would be riding my bike. Some of you know I grew up in Europe. I grew up in Belgium, and riding a bike was a very common reality for lots of us at that time. And so I'd be riding my bike, and as I'd be riding my bike, there'd be two things that I would often do. One is I'd be singing, and I'd be singing praises to the Lord, or I would be praying and be talking to God, and just as I'm riding my bike. And so praying can be done with our eyes wide open. And if you're driving your car and you're praying, or you're riding your bike and you're praying, or you're walking down the street and you're praying, I would recommend you keep your eyes open and you just talk to God. And, and that's the reality. We don't need fancy words. We don't need a particular formula. Again, so oftentimes people think like if you're not using the right words, or if you don't say the right formula, then somehow God's not going to hear you, or God's not going to respect your prayer. And we're going to talk more about that kind of stuff throughout this week. But really, all prayer is just talking to God. That's what it is. It's just taking time to just communicate to God what is on your heart. And I would encourage you to seriously consider that. Consider how to pray, and we're going to talk about that this week. We're going to talk about why prayer. We're going to talk about all of these different aspects of prayer throughout the week. And I want to encourage you to take part in this over the next 4 more days to do this. And today, as you go about your day, I would encourage you just talk to God. Just take time to talk to God. You can do that anywhere you are. You can do that in any position that you're in. You can be standing, you can be sitting. You can kneel. You can kneel and fold your hands and close your eyes. You can do that, and nothing wrong with that. You can do that in a church building if the church buildings are open in your area. But you don't need to be there. You don't need to be in those places. You literally can do it right in your home. You can do it in your bedroom, in your bathroom, in your kitchen. You can do it in your car. You can pray anywhere, because it's simply taking the time to talk with God. So may we overcome the stereotypes about prayer that stop us from talking to God. And I don't know about you, but if you're in the situation where you really do struggle with being able to just communicate with God, my hope and prayer this week is that will help you overcome that, so that you'll be a person who is comfortable just to talk with God, and not feel that you have to perform somehow like maybe others around you do. May the Lord bless you. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.